Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a 1v1 replay analysis of Autopilot's opens on a series of maps, right? So we're going to start on Greenhaven. It's going to be featured in the upcoming our Pro League Season 4 map pool. So yeah, let's get underway here. Maybe I can pause this and just introduce the map for those of you who aren't familiar with it. This is Greenhaven, made by Nikas. 14 by 14, 10 high wind speed. What is the wind risk is 19.5. Average wind speed is 8. Low is 5, right? So definitely a lower wind speed map. There's a good amount of reclaim spread out across it, and there's even some metal thrown in here and there in these rocks, and some interesting geo placements here. So I haven't seen many of those taken in games, but something to note how strong geos are on such a low wind speed map. So that's it. Mexes are 1.6. They're kind of far apart. It's hard to take mexes on this map, I will tell you what. So that being said, introductions out of the way, let's begin. So I've experienced the theme of how Autopilot plays these land maps, and he likes to play core bots. I really like this playstyle, so yeah, let's go over it. It took a beating yesterday, actually. This is from, this is the day after me reviewing the losses against, or the opens, I suppose, Autopilot is using. So let's do this together. So 2 mexes into 5 wind turbine. Factory, I think he would have gone with 4 maybe if wind was higher, but yeah, just goes for the 5th. And then we see has 3 more wind turbines queued up, right? I can see 2 Resbot Con Grunt on repeat, basically. Coming out of the factory. Excuse me, I had to take a little sip of coffee there. This is the early morning for me. Shout out if you guys are early risers. If you are, like the video, subscribe. I don't know, guys. Just do the thing. It's nice. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. It helps me grow the channel and reach a wider audience. So if you want to play against more skilled players, like the video. Let's grow the 1v1 scene, right? 2 resbots, and look at this. I mean to put this on the player view, actually. Pretty cool. Just kind of cooking through this E for a moment. And are able to assist this bot lab, or excuse me, con out without stalling. So I'm going to pause here for a second just to note that apparently they nerfed the resbot reclaim, tree reclaim on every map because it's 29 now. So I don't know if that's just like the flats and forest trees that are on this map as well, or if it's just resbots reclaiming trees in general was nerfed to 30 energy per second. Something to note. So still no solar panels, right? We've kind of ran out of metal. Almost. Let's see how we do it. And then we are coming up here with the first expansion. So I'm not going to go too far into these videos. I just want to see like the broad brushstrokes, right? When do we add on the 3rd con? Something like that. Oh, let me do something real quick. Pause, F5. I'm just going to take this screenshot. Okay. 3rd con is now, so what is that, 2 minutes and 35 seconds. And another thing I wanted to note was when the first construction turret comes up. So it's interesting how this is just scaling E, not even expanding. It's kind of content to expand with this 1 con for now. And maybe something to note I didn't quite touch on the map introduction, whereas there's a couple, actually 2.3 mexes. There's 3 right there, 2 right here, and I think there's another 2 right here. And that's kind of mirrored onto the other side of the map, right? So something like that, right? So sorry for that little segue. A little more important positions on the map to keep secure. So the commander, we ran out of E essentially, so we can't assist the lab anymore. So kind of unfortunate. We're getting this radar up too. Maybe that's a function of that. So you can go back assisting. You know, I'm curious to know. I've never really written this down, but a factory producing a grunt, what draws Why isn't that showing me? Is it because I'm on player view or something? What, minus 14 is it? Minus 44, 69. And then the commander is minus, is that 200? It's hard to tell. It keeps fluctuating. I just want to know exactly like what is it, how much energy you need to assist the lab and produce grunts at the same time. So I missed one thing here. We had a third resbot come out. Is anything else queued up? So he makes two more resbot, or excuse me, one more resbot. And then, yeah, this second con wasn't adding on E. We're going to come down here and just naked expand. And finally add an LLT and a radar. So something I noticed these higher level players will do is, let me try and explain this. Like if we look at natural choke points, maybe something like this, or around here, consider this to be like non-traversable, I suppose. They'll naked expand and then put the static defense or LLTs like as close to the choke point as they can, like maybe like an LLT here and an LLT here. So it's like you don't have to make LLTs to protect your mexes along the way. Say in these areas, you know, you just make them right up at the end in those like choke point areas. So not exactly what's happening here, but we can see like, yeah, he's naked expanding and then adds on some LLTs and a radar. I think that's just a function of like, you're defending all these areas with grunts, right? So it's the early game. You have a radar. It's like you don't, like I wouldn't be surprised. Well, this is actually a fantastic LLT position for many reasons. Maybe we'll look at that later. But yeah, Caps 3 Mexes adds on LLT radar. 1, 2, LLT. You know, so pretty sparse. Not really porking up the map in this early game. Just trying to get out there and expand. We still have grunts on repeat. The commander is assisting the lab, making these two cons. So this is pretty much it. We're, what is this? 4 minutes into the game, right? 8 metal per tick. Soon to be much higher. 200 metal, but I like 200 E per second. But I really like this commitment to the resbot. I was like, what? Let's look at the statistics and see the differential here. So I guess you're a little behind on metal produced, up on energy. But you've got way more grunts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Whereas 2, 5. There's a couple of grunts over here. Maybe that's a relatively even. So you have more resbots, right? I just have the one resbot now. So I guess the difference in playstyle is like I'm just committing to solar powers and like some winds, right? So I guess making solars when I felt like I need to. A lot of times when I do this, like I'll end up reclaiming a few of these solars. I'm like adding on an energy storage, right? But this game actually ends like pretty quickly, I think. Oh no, that was the first one. He ends up going into like a vehicle lab. Maybe that's another transition to pick up on. Did he actually reclaim his bot lab and go straight into vehicles? See, this resbot's doing what it can, resing those units over there. So two resbots reclaiming, a fourth one coming out to start reclaiming. Pretty even game, actually. I just noticed, like, from the cursory review of this, he made no solars, right? He was just making wins. So that's just something I kind of picked up on between both of these games on Greenhaven, right? He ends up getting that con. I don't want to go too far into this video. I really just want to know, like, when does he put down the factory? Because he's just like sits on the factory and makes the makes grunts, right? Okay, so what was that? 540, 535 makes the third con. Wow, that's crazy. 535 makes a third con and goes right into a construction turret. Boom. Keeps adding on E. And then we're just sitting there powering through all the energy. What does the excess look like? Pretty low. Pretty low. I think for excess, if you're under 10%, that's like, you're doing okay. If you're over 10%, you might want to start looking at things and seeing where you can clean up your play, right? Obviously, that's not a hard, fast rule. That's just a rule of thumb. So here's this LLT we talked about earlier. Let me just double check this traversability. What is it? I'm on Legacy. I'm not sure how to check it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But anyways, this is a really nice position here. It's like blocking units. I'm pretty sure I can't walk around like this, but just a nice placed LLT. I'll say that. Same for these other ones over here, and looks like another radar is going up. So look at these radar positions, right? This map's hard to get radar coverage on. It's hard to defend everything or like to not let units slip by. So just interesting to see these radar commitments. And of course, we're just gonna wait for the vehicle lab. So yeah, he goes right into the vehicle lab, and then he reclaims it. 730, we'll call it. Okay. And right into incisors. Incisors can move around fairly well on this map. It's not atrocious. Excuse me. So that was that. But why don't we move into the next map? How about that? We played quite a few matches. Let's check out this Paradise Lost. I think it's been a long time since I've done a video on a build order for this map, and I mean it's like been over a year, right? The last one I did was Ragnar's build order when he was using this was his like home map on oh gosh, I'm blanking on the guy's name. He had like a 1v1 league. Farman, something like that. Anyways, here we are again on this beautiful map. For real, if you should play Embar Pro League. So let's check this out. I suppose we can introduce this for those of you who aren't too terribly familiar with it, but yeah, this is Paradise Lost. It's like kind of the same size as Comet Catcher, right? 20 by 10. Not the most land, but there's just water mexes everywhere, you know, just classic water map. From what I understand, there's some discrepancies. It's a little imbalanced, these starting positions between the left and right side. Not the end of the world, I don't think, but let's see how this goes. So we're gonna take a look at Autopilot's open. He goes Mex, 2 wins, and then into the water. So 4 mexes before factory. Okay. And while we were kind of watching this, the name of the game is getting E-production. Is it minus 130 energy per second? I think it's the naval lab consumes. So quite a bit compared to the other other factories, other labs, if you will. And yeah, so just kind of you have to adjust your playstyle a little bit. We'll see what adjustments Autopilot makes, but this is looking fairly standard, right? Interesting to know off of max wind speed, 20. You can get away with this 4 mechs. Shipyard open. Shipyard open and not stall energy, right? Cool to know. Let's take a look at the open off of the vehicle lab. So, pause for a second. 3 cons straight away. Dear God, so greedy. Into 7 supporters. One of these, what, herrings? 4 frigates, con, 5 frigates, sub. Okay. I think the biggest kind of thing to note there was just the 3 cons first, into those 7 fast supporters. I really like microing supporters. I think they're a cool unit. They're quick. They have good line of sight. Great early game, kind of harassing or defensible unit. You know, you can get them in position where you need them. So, what is this? We're gonna finish the lab, kind of stalling on energy, and then you just go right into wind turbine production back up on the shore here. So, first con comes out. He had some really great build cues on this. So what is it? Cap these 2 mexes, torpedo launcher, 3 mexes, radar, torp launcher, 3 mexes. So pretty cool chain. Against yours truly, of course, I was going to say I might not be able to get all the URLs in the description, but of course you can just find out Autopilot games where he's playing against me if you want to watch these replays. But yeah. Here we are continuing to make the wind turbines, right? You can see that, I mean, he's kind of like forced into that just by like how low the energy bar is, right? So we won't see him like capping these mexes over here, this 1.8, or assisting the lab until this energy issue is solved. And it's not bad. What is this drawing? Minus 90 for the con per tick. So the second con comes out. This is beautiful. Radar right up, tucked up on the island here, which I can show the coverage here in a second, but it's really strong. Mex, radar, torp launcher, mex. So super greedy play here. Don't mind my micro. And then the third con finally just capping mexes LLT. So here we are. This is like the greediest open versus, I don't want to call my build like aggressive, too aggressive. Like I went con first off of 4 mexes, right? So, but maybe not the best job punishing this open, right? Because I can see. Oh, by the way, here. Oh, so reclaim is super strong versus these supporters, right? So the con can actually just totally end its day. Let me go back to this build. So here we are. We're capping the mexes. Notice how he's got a little bit of metal in the bank and a full energy bar. So I know he's busy microing his units right now. So like reclaiming with the commander isn't completely ideal. Of course, yeah, he's, like I said, busy defending his units. So none of this cons went down. That's insane, right? So with the repair micro, with reclaim, and your own supporters, right? Because you have the defender's advantage in this position, right? You can actually get these out. So interesting to see he's kind of walking past this. Might see a little bit of a assist? No, not a big deal though. I mean, you'll burn through this metal pretty quick, right? But the fourth con comes out. Looks like it's just gonna start a construction turret. I'm thinking he might have wanted to catch assist that with his commander while it's walking past. Perhaps a little bit of a mistake, but we can see like 4 minutes and 20 seconds ish into the game, like he's already moving to the middle island and then up here on the top left. And cool to see that I'm not the only one who makes these double mexes. So definitely happens to everyone. What do the statistics look like? Okay, so he's up on metal, on energy. Really nice open. He just played so greedy, right? It's kind of crazy. Do these make, yeah, these make energy per tick. Okay, yeah. So by the way, if you didn't know, all the cons in bar make a little bit of energy. So just something to know. I think that's about how far we want to go into this game. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. You can see there's just so much variability on this map. I'm really looking forward to the games. So hopefully we see more of this water map on Season 4 of our Pro League, which if you're interested in getting signed up for, I can certainly put that link in the description. So let me do that after the video, and let's move into the next replay. So if you're not familiar with Bar Pro League, it's the 1v1 league I put on every couple of months. I think we had 3 seasons this year. This is the 3rd and final season. Just a 1v1 league modeled off of the GSL. So to get into it, you have to make it through a qualifier, right? To make it to the round of 16, right? So have to make it through one qualifier, which is going to be this Saturday, September 14th. It's going to be bar fight night number 12. So I'll put that link in the description, and this will be the last replay we look at. So if you like these longer format kind of replay analysis, let me know in the comment section. If you have ideas on what you'd like to see more of, let me know. Yeah, there's funny little banter here. To start. I think Thirxie was here. He was like kind of not needling me. He was just talking shit, I guess. Anyways, all in good fun, of course. What am I doing? So let's look at Autopilot's build here. This is Mithril Mountain, another map on our Pro League Season 4. It is, oh, Johannes, Midbit, 12 by 12 map, 17 wind speed. This big mountain in the middle that has lower value mexes, but definitely offers like a good position to survey the battlefield and radar spots. So is it a vehicle map? Is it a bot map? Who knows? Time will tell. But for now, let's look and see how Autopilot opens. Here, control, limit camera zoom. I'm just gonna grab a screenshot for the old YouTubes. This is a pretty standard open, right? 2 mechs, 2 wind turbine, third mechs, 2 wind turbine, and then looks like he's actually gonna go for a 5th into a bot lab. So pretty cool to see. Let me grab this, turn that back on. So it looks like wind was really low. That's why we saw him add on the 5th wind turbine before the factory starts. And you just barely get this up without stalling, right? So it's kind of important. What do we have here? 2 cons into grunts on repeat, basically. And did a little step forward there. Oh, to assist the lab, right? So now that wind did pick up, we have like a pretty full energy bar. So it's important to burn through that. And then I'm assuming we'll see him add on a bunch more wind turbines. Yeah, there we go. So this is how the pros do it, right? Or really doing a great job balancing the E-bar, spending the starting metal, right? Using the commander's build power. It's, from what I understand, don't take this as gospel, but when you're playing bots versus bots, which for the uninitiated is a lot of 1v1s, it's like you have this I don't know how to say it. It's like your commander has a bunch of build power, right? And if you're sitting on the lab just assisting it, you're gonna have like, so let's call it like the maximum amount of grunts you could have at any given time, right? 2 minutes into the game, 3 minutes in the game, 5 minutes in the game, 10 minutes into the game, right? There's some, in my mind, like hypothetical maximum amount of grunts you could have produced given your metal and energy, right? So a part of that is using this commander's build power in the early game and staying on the factory, just literally, I don't want to say, for lack of a better word, shitting out grunts, right? So that's the name of the game when you're playing core. And I've picked up on from Autopilot, or at least other players, like they just sit on the factory and assist it and make grunts. They get radars and naked expand, right? So it's like this combination of maybe playing a little greedy with the cons, being diligent about the radars, and defending well, right? So you don't need LOTs because you have radars, and you can protect your grunts with, or protect your cons with your superior grunt count because you're staying on the lab, making grunts with your commander, right? And lo and behold, like we're not adding on wind turbines at the moment. We're just like cooking through our E. I'm assuming we'll see him add on some wind turbines here in a second. Yeah, now that he's kind of dropped it down. But the first 2 cons come out and just basically naked expand, right? Cap 2 Street Mex is LLT, radar, Mex, 2 LLTs, radar, right? So gets up to 9 Mexes fairly quickly. It's interesting to see he even adds on a solar collector here, first solar collector we've seen today. So that's just a function of wind being so low, right? Just gonna try and get another wind turbine up, but looks like he's gonna make a solar instead. And the third con comes out. What is it? So it's almost finished. So maybe like 3 315, 320. Maybe even earlier, actually, because we were stalling on E. So third con comes out. Interesting, he's like adding on the wind turbines again, like in the Greenhaven game, but I wonder if we see it. We will see him expand with that. Not quite. Another thing I noticed pros do. So you might look at this and be like, wow, that looks really vulnerable. There's a disadvantage and like advantage to it, right? It looks vulnerable, but as we discussed on like the naked expanding, and you're leveraging your grunt and radars to protect yourself while being greedy. The same thing applies here, right? It's like, well, if we're being efficient with our build power, he should never be attacking. I mean, our opponent should never be attacking this, right? Maybe it's going to be the peripheral expansions and the cons, but this is defended, I guess, by the nature of our build. And then of course, like the advantage of it is you're back to the commander's build power. Notice how he doesn't, like, his commander has barely walked. Like it started here, took a step forward to assist the lab, and then took another step forward to like here, right? And is just filling in that position he was in with wind turbines. And before he was in that position, he was just using his build range to make these. So long story short, abuse the commander's build range at the cost of maybe base design, right? And this is going to tie into being as efficient as possible with the build power and just immediately going right back onto the factory, assisting it and making more grunts. So super important. Maybe a finer detail. Let me know if you guys see anything else that I kind of missed on this, or how you like to you get advantages in the early game. I think this like first 5 minutes of the game, first 4 or 5 minutes, super important to get down right. I'm not that good, honestly, so don't really study me. That's why I'm studying Autopilot. So shout out. Thanks for beating me up yesterday. Good to take those lumps, and our reward, I suppose, is the great replays to review. So shout out. Autopilot. I think you need a qualifier, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, if I remember correctly. So I hope you end up playing. I hope we see you in the qualifier, and thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. If you can, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next replay. Thanks for watching.